Hello, welcome to the Viewpoint. I am Mamadou Mboj. Barely a month after he had formed his political party in January this year, he proclaimed that he could transform the country in 90 days. And recently, the party decided to appoint a retired brigadier general as the party's flag bearer for the 2021 presidential elections. Here, of course, I'm talking about the Gambia Action Party, GAP. And today on the Viewpoint, we have the leader and the Secretary General, Mr. Musa Yali Bachele. Mr. Bachele, welcome to the Viewpoint.
Thank you, Mr. Boj. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Great.
Yes. Of course, what most of us found quite extraordinary was the very nature of how this flag bearer was selected. As I understand it, he wasn't part of the party. He wasn't a member of the party. And then what was the need? You've got a leader in Musa Yali Bachele, a leader and Secretary General. What was the need to have a flag bearer?
Well, every citizen's concerned citizen or every Gambian belongs to any party they wish. And the Secretary General is May Musa Yali Bachele. From the beginning of formation of this party, onset, I said, I will be the Secretary General and the party leader of this party, and if I see any concerned citizen, me and the executive will trust you, will like you, and hundreds of those are in line, I'll choose them to be the presidential candidate. I'll behind them and support.
Couldn't you have anyone within the party?
We have a lot, starting from me.
Why didn't you go for it? Why didn't you do it?
I'm not power hungry.
But what does it mean? You've got something to offer. Why not offer it?
I'm a visionary. I have all the competency, the transparency.
But that's what we need as a leader, the visionary.
Yes,
So
he's a visionary.
But you were there before he was. He wasn't even a member of the party.
Who said he was not a member of the party?
Well, I spoke to...
You are the member of GAP too.
But I'm not officially a member of GAP.
You are, because you are a concerned citizen and a Gambian. This party belongs to the Gambians.
Then the meaning suddenly found us. You know what I mean? If anybody can be a member of the party, whether you join or not, then is it really a political party?
It's a political party. You can initiate a political party. In fact, this is an administrative institution.
But it's a political party. You registered with IEC.
I call it an administrative institution. I could be the founder, and I am the founder. I am the initiator. I finance it 94%. Doesn't mean that if I see somebody who's concerned, who is a visionary they don't mean it by coincidence. They met through ideas. I spoke to him 1 year before forming this party. I spoke to him 1 year, last year in October, even registered this party. We spoke about politics, we talk about the concern of the country, we talk about the development of the nature of this country, and I sense in him that he's a competent brother.
But why didn't he join the party? Didn't you try to get him to join the party?
This party belongs to all Gambians, my brother.
But that's slightly humbug, I have to say. I mean, really, what we know of a political party, of course, you go out to sell your program, then people will have to buy up to that program, then they become members of that political party. Yes. Then any party can say that you're the 10th. There are 9 other parties.
My brother, when I registered this party, our manifesto is all over the world. One of the things about me, we scout for a good person. That's one of our guiding principles. Do you know how many people are here after him? We have 100 competent brothers.
But that is
both female and male. Let me continue. Both female and males in the party. We chose him. It's not like we talked to the executive. We want to make him our presidential candidate.
And you have female members within your executive?
Why not?
How many?
40% of our executive are female members.
How many members are there in the executive?
Right now, we talk about 8 members.
What about disabled people?
Yes,
people
indeed.
Like that?
Yes. This is going to be the first party in history. In fact, when we empower, we'll have a special ministry post for disabled person. Let me come back to the history now. His Excellency, I call him His Excellency because we're going to be the next government.
Well, that's a tall order.
That's not at all. I'll call him His Excellency because he's the incoming president of the next election.
But we do not know that. We do not know that.
I'm giving an assurance.
But no human being can give such an assurance. Nobody can give such an assurance.
The forces behind this party, they are not couple of thieves. They're not couple of sharks. The forces behind this party, they are concerned citizens who love Gambia at heart. They are Gambians who live in America, who live in Europe, who live in Africa, who live in Asia, ready to sacrifice anything, everything that they have. Behind me, as a Secretary General, I'll push this presidential candidate. We move this country.
All these parties will tell you exactly the same.
Well,
they've got supporters in Britain, they've got supporters in Europe, they've got supporters all over the place. So the diaspora, as they call it, is the 8th region. All these parties can tell you exactly the same.
My brother, Bachili is a concerned citizen. Bachili is not somebody who Olaf says, in Wolof they say, Utkat ligekat. Bachili act executive we are ligekat.
But most people will say exactly that about themselves.
My brother, let me come to Mr.
They will say exactly
you asked me why I chose
exactly.
him.
So, yes.
Can I come to that?
You may.
With his unique combination of being a security expert, geopolitics, and a medical background. Not only because of that, because of the compassionate and the passion he has for this country.
But when it comes to local politics here, he's a novice.
He's well known. He's well known from Khartoum to
local politics.
He's well known. Bachil is behind him. As
because most people were asking, who is this guy? This Brigadier General Bojang.
Let me tell you something about these generals. He's challenging. He wants to be president in the right channel. He's now going back the back door, like how the President Barrow claimed. If you want to follow me, you enter my boss in the front door. But you cannot enter my boss in behind door. This man is an expert, a security expert.
Okay, so what would be the difference between the flag bearer? So would you call yourself still the leader or just the Secretary General? So how would you demarcate? A
presidential candidate is totally different with a Secretary General.
Yeah, so
I'm the party leader. We chose him to be the presidential to cover the whole nation, to stand as a president under the ticket of GAP.
But isn't this a diffusion of
no
leadership or duplicate of leadership?
There's no duplicate.
If in any organization with two heads, you know that sooner or later they might clash.
That will be no clash. You know why? We are visionaries. We are not power hungry. It's all about delivery services. We're not here because of power. If I was power hungry, I'm 95% I financed this party. I started from inception. I'm showing the world that I'm changing the political dialogue or the political ideology of Gambia.
But it is about power because you want to get into that state house so that you can implement your program. It's about political power.
It's not about political power.
But
it's about political visions.
Well, it's all part of a package.
To show that
any party will come with a vision, and then you want to implement that, turn it into policy, and then you have to have power.
Why would you give somebody if you show that I'm competent? I'm giving chance to people.
But how do we know that? What did you do before GAP? How successful was the business? How do we know what you can do, what you've done? We are used to politicians saying one thing in opposition, and yet when they go into power, you get something entirely different.
Now, brother, how long you live in Gambia?
This doesn't matter. It's not about me. No, it's not about me. It's about you.
How do we know?
So that's it. So you tell us.
History will tell.
So you tell us.
History has told, and history will tell when time comes who is Bachili. People know who is Bachili.
Well, you just busted onto the scene in January 2019.
My brother, I was the former foreign secretary
of
the 9 political party.
Which 9 political parties? You mean the coalition?
No.
Because as far as I'm aware, you were with GDC.
That was the 9 political party.
You resigned from, did you resign or were you sacked? In fact,
I never resigned. I never sacked. I resigned.
But they took the sacking letter first to IEC, was it?
Well, that's you are journalists. You know all the digging thing. My brother, can you give me a chance? Let me elaborate on my presidential candidate, his combination, his capability.
In all certainty, I'm almost certain that we will invite him at some point as a flag bearer. But now I just want to get your perspective.
My perspective about him, he's competent. People are claiming that he's a military. When you look at the history, go back to history. In African politics, even the militaries, those who went through the right channel, they deliver better than even the civils. Let's use the example of Thomas Sankara. Madabio is there. Burkina Faso, what's his name again? My political mentor, Paul Kagame. 19 years now, he transformed Rwanda to be one of the fastest economy in Africa, the cleanest country in Africa, the third cleanest city in Africa.
Examples abound. There's no denying that. But you can also understand our reluctance
when you look at the history
when
you look at the history of my incoming presidential candidate, Mr. Bojang, he was a doctor before he became a military. That's excellent background. Look at our medical history now. In Gambia here, people are going to MRC 10 p.m. in the night just to queue to get a ticket. Medical Research Center is far much better than our big hospital.
We have just emerged out of a 22-year damage to the society. Every level of the society was damaged out of this 22 years.
One wonders. I don't compare between the government of Jammeh and the government Barrow.
But why not? Why not?
When it comes to the, I don't believe in comparison.
But you have to compare to know the relative weight of anything.
Let me give you the relative weight. Jammeh's government, during Jammeh's government, our medical system is far more better than they here.
What's the statistics? How do we know that?
Because
as far as we are aware,
right now, there is not even proper oxygen in the hospital.
Yes, there's no denying that there are difficulties.
Look, they are driving
they are using. How would you have sorted it out? How would you have done it?
You have to give me a chance. Let me break it down, because you cut me off. Through our policy, our manifesto, we will transform the medical system in Gambia here.
How?
By calling the experts. We call it vigorous transformative changes, no compromise.
Where would you get the experts from?
But some are here, some we can call them from Ghana. They're in Africa. We learn from African countries.
So you are hopeful that they will come? Is this a plan? Have you already done anything? Have you got a concrete plan?
And we have a bunch of extremely good plans for the betterment of this country. First of all, when your national policy, if your national policy has been structurized in a proper way, all your foreign policy will be easy.
But what is a proper way? When you get into the details, that's where the devil is, as they say. You have to get to the details.
Proper way is to structure the institution.
In what form?
Do you know how to do, when to do it, and the right time? The education. My brother, we are spending billions of dollars, taxpayers' money, for their individual interest.
Why do you say that? Can you point to anything that they're doing right now to demonstrate your point?
Even the 20, he has been traveling within 2 years. He has been traveling as a president within 2 years.
But he has to travel.
Now listen to within 2 years, over 26 times, if I'm not mistaken, with all his cabinets. There's not even sufficient drugs in the country. We have 7 institutions in this country that generate money.
But
we can call our
government expenditure has gone down. It was from 11.5%, it went down to 10%, according to certain statistics.
Who said that?
Well, when you look at IMF, they've actually made that.
IMF to come and tell us how our economy runs?
But
to me, it's just like we call that. You see, you don't understand. We call it the gameplay.
But this is just geopolitical realism. This is our world right now. We depend on IMF and the World Bank. We depend on foreign aid for the economy to move.
We don't need foreign aid.
But right now we do.
Gap, we don't.
In the short term,
we have resources. We have our resources. Let's talk about my logo, the River Gambia.
But that will take time before you can see any benefits.
What do you mean will take time?
In the short term, we need foreign aid.
In the short term, there is no short term, no long term. All we need is a proper commitment.
But surely you're bound to have a short term. What is happening right now? The most pressing issues, you need to deal with them.
If you believe in yourself, Mr. Mboj, you don't need no foreign aid. China in 1972. I was born 1972. I'm 47 years old. China was not advanced in 1972.
The political dynamics of China and the history completely different from ours. So we do hear these comparisons being made.
We have more resources than even China.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, if China have resources than us, why are they coming up tapping on our fishes, in our waters? Because what has been sold to China, to EU, to Senegal. Senegal is a big brother. Due respect. I'm not saying that we should not work with them. We should work them based on corporate social responsibility. Are you with me, Mr. Mboj?
Let's put this in a context, in a wider context. I wonder if when the president gave the State of the Nation address, did GAP release any press statement responding to that? What do you think about that, the State of the Nation address that the president delivered recently?
The speech of, how you call it, the speech, whatever they call it, to me is relevant. It doesn't make any sense.
But it was a constitution requirement for the president to go at least once and address the National Assembly.
What really triggers me when I heard he was saying the tuna fish. How can you sell a ton of tuna fish, the government of Barrow, for 136 years? You are selling our water Is our water wanted?
Well, this is how nations,
What you
especially
mean
on the
nation?
developed,
My
on the
brother,
developed
if
nations, this is what we
developing
do.
nation is called
This is what
corporate
we
social
do.
responsibility.
This is what
we
we
should
do.
call the Chinese, the Europeans. We have experts in Gambia who are concerned citizens. Tell them this is how we're going to do it.
So-
Maritime education. Let's bring all. Listen to me. Don't cut me off. You see, when you cut me off, I don't actually break it down for better understanding. That's what I want. We talk to them corporate social responsibility. Look, these are big boys. We need all the equipment that we need to buy from the GS. Bring factories here. You use our youths. Educate them in maritime. Someone will enter to do the fishing. Someone will bring it here for the processing plant. The things that we need to export. You see, when you do export,
we are doing our export. You see, these things, it seems, is easier to say than to do.
No.
Where is the blueprint? What precisely are you going to do? It's not simply enough to say we have to harness this or we have to harness that, including our youth. Of course, everybody knows that we have to do that, but it's just about what you said, turning vision into workable policy. Because sometimes, you know, it takes time for policy to come to fruition.
It's a turning vision into working policy. The name of action just tell you, this party is about action.
Yes, words are words, but the reality is something else.
The reality on earth is action.
Is something
Governance
else.
to governance is you don't need to go to a University of Cambridge or Yale or Harvard or Oxford. Visionaries don't know what to do. We call technocrats who are concerned. Leadership is not about presidency.
Yeah, but technocracy is one thing, but politics is quite another. One might meet perhaps the technocrats in permanent secretaries and all the rest of it, but the political vision that comes from politicians, technocrats may help you implement your plan.
Okay. Can you let me break it down my policy? Because the questions you're asking, you will ask me why did I choose?
But the conversation had moved on.
Yeah, why did I choose him? I didn't choose him. The executive unanimously agreed to choose him not based off his competency, based on the most part, the love and the passion he has for this country.
Selection, why not election? So there was nobody else
there's nobody
competing
else.
for
There's
that,
nobody else.
for
There's
that
nobody
position.
else competing.
So how dynamic is your democracy within the party?
We are in the rule of our constitution. We will go to Congress. When we go to Congress, we will restructure the internal structure of our executive.
So right now, what's wrong with it? Why do you need to restructure if there's nothing wrong?
We are going to Congress. That's by law. That's IAC law. When we go there, if I want to sell him to the world, I want to sell him to the Gambians. That's this guy, through his combination, his unique combination being security expert, geopolitics, medical background, Bachilis behind him, the executives behind him, with the forces.
But he's still a political novice.
Yes, the forces behind him, or behind us, in fact, they love Gambia at heart. They're ready to serve this interest of the country. Look, Mr. Mboj, this government, they're not serious.
Why not?
Thank you. Let's look at our educational system when you go to rural area. People don't even have chairs and tables in their school. You see somebody who walk like 30, 40 minutes to get into school, and they're driving expensive cars. That car alone, don't cut me. The car alone, when you sell the car, he can buy 600 chairs and table for them.
The inequalities, the income inequalities, that's a phenomenon everybody talks about all over the world, isn't it?
Are they the owner of the monies? Are they the owner of the monies? We entrusted them. We vote for them, especially the masses. They trust the government. They vote for them. They say, look, we trust you with all the resources we have, with your cabinet. All we need just to make sure the masses are okay.
So, but do you see any positives in education, for instance?
Right now, our educational system is getting worse by the day.
But again, statistics tend to go against that. For instance, we remember last year or year before when the worst results were just so awful. But this year, they've improved. There are more students attending school now. Government is doing what it can. You cannot just sort out what took 22 or so years to damage. You sort it out in 3 years. Democratic development is incremental. It is slow.
Mr. Mboj, my viewpoint, the way I view the points or the way I analyze situation, I don't believe it 22 years of damage. If we are in power, like I mentioned, the eagle eye. They don't have no eagle eye. GAP has an eagle eye for the betterment of this country.
But everybody said that everything was damaged. IMF, World Bank, people who have actually done the studies. Just Janet Commission just published. We've seen the billions that were squandered. We're looking at the TRRC, the institutions. You have the institutional hearings as one of the themes. We can see how this person just created this architecture of plunder and just yes men in places. So we are facing this. This is the real legacy we're having to deal with now.
You said Janet Commission. That white paper is whitewash.
How? In what sense?
Selective justice is injustice.
But this was
brother,
a recommendation, a book of recommendation.
When I said the white paper is whitewash, it entails everything.
Well, it sounds catchy.
It's not catchy.
It sounds catchy, but the reality behind it.
The reality behind it, this government, they need to reform themselves. If they want to be best reformers, they have to eradicate or minimize to the core corruption that's going on.
In fact, you once said that you said, wasn't it, you gave, but it was in 90 days. You seem to like this 90 days. Before you said you would transform the economy in 90 days, and then you gave Barrow 90 days to either meet you guys to talk or to sort out the mismanagement. Otherwise, you were going to have give an expose of the corruption going on, but you never did.
The expose itself come out.
Many
are coming, many come out, many are yet to come.
But not from you.
No,
I mean, as you promised, we thought that you had the killer.
My brother, the day I want to announce it,
lesson.
People might say different. The day I want to make my press conference, the godfather of the political hero died.
But that was more than 90 days ago.
That was 27 of August. I said May 27, August 27, the old man died. And then 29, that was his burial. From that 29, things were coming out non-stop.
So you will come out with your...
My brother, more corruption.
But why can't you just say it now? This is a wonderful platform for you to tell us. Because we need to know what is going
wrong. The corruption that's
wrong.
going on, I have said it in many interviews. The corruption that's going on in this country is more rampant even Jammeh's corruption.
How did you know that?
Jammeh was one-man show.
How did you know that?
Jammeh was one-man show. Look, my brother, look at the institution. I've seen people who work at JRA. 6-7 months, they are building millions of houses worth of millions in Burusubi, in Kerseri.
Who are these people?
My brother, that's why I told the president, if you want to use an independent, they call the Gambian Eagle, let them screen the whole institution from A to Z, from top to bottom, and make sure when they scrutinize it, that's why I used 90 days. If we empower the chapter of era of Jammeh, the chapter of era of Jawara, Jammeh, Barrow, we close it, we structure the whole institution that will move a country. Any achieving country, any government that's in power, they will ask you, what have you achieved within 100 days?
But we're going through reforms. There are all sorts of
what kind of reform?
going on right now.
A reform of 2.5 years, going to 3 years, you cannot even structuralize what's going on. Our national identity have been sold.
So you could have done it in less than 2 years.
We will
on all of this reform. What do you think you would have achieved in 2 years?
When we get in power, which is certain, inshallah, when we get in power, 2021, the first time we close the whole 3 chapters. It's going to be the new generation. I don't care about us.
What chapters?
Man, I'm talking about the whole 3 chapters. I'm talking the old man, the Jammeh, the Barrow, close it. Put the record aside, lock it. Structurize all the institution that will move a country within 90 days. And we will do it. From 90 days, the world going to 100 days.
But still, you haven't said how you would do it.
My brother, the way I'm going to do it, to structure an institution, you know how to do it.
But what does it mean to structure the institution? So what precisely would you do?
I think, Mr. Mboj, how many institutions we have in the Gambia?
You answer that. You are the head of a political party. I am not. I am not the head of a political party.
It's not about head of a political party. You do know how many institutions we have in the Gambia. You do. If you guys trust us to lead, a concerned citizen should know. We have 7 institutions. We have our resources.
So you mean for instance, Barrow's National Development Plan, well, the coalition's National Development Plan, the 8 areas they identified, do you agree with that? Do you think these are the key areas? Would you have done your National Development Plan similarly, for instance?
Did Barrow put his national development plan on the assembly to vet?
No, but that's almost, that was a coalition.
No,
it was really known by the coalition.
You say it's coalition government.
Yes.
Did the coalition government brought the national development plan on in the assembly house to vet so that it can be read all over the nation? We understand it.
Should they have done that?
They
I
should
mean,
have.
just like with your manifesto, with your party manifesto, it's really for you to go and sell to the people, not necessarily to take to the National Assembly.
But
it's like a party manifesto.
Political party is different with a government.
Well, this was a coalition government, you know, because of the problems we were in.
They're the one controlling the country.
But again, you want to be in government.
You see, we want to be in government. That's why we have our manifesto. We are selling our manifesto from Kato to Willibana. You understand? These are coalition government. They have the NDP. NDP doesn't belong to him. We need to know what's in there. And Mr. President, his government should know any deals.
They've published National Development Plan.
Any government treaty, the deals they are doing all over, the move they are doing, we should know it. As a concerned citizen, as a political leaders, if it's good for the country, we'll support him. If it's not, we'll tell him to change it.
But we've been getting
look at Madabio. Look at Madabio. Well, look at Madabio. I use a reference to Madabio, President Madabio. He called all the minerals, all the mining, all the contracts in Sierra Leone. They closed it. He said, let's refresh it again. He should do that.
But here they did, I remember Julagay, the mining company,
how can
was
you
stopped
sell
for a while,
a ton of a fish for
it.
136 euros? When a ton of a tuna fish costs 136 euros. How can Gambian government even dream to do that? You are selling out our water bodies.
So what should they have done?
Tuna fish.
What should they have done?
What should have done? We bring our factory here.
But how would you fund it? How would you get the factories to come? It's easy to say that we're going to do that, but the funding matters. How would you fund it?
We look our economy, the institution that generates money. We call our experts who are good in finance. GRA is generated money. NAWEC is generated money. Gantel is generated money. The two municipalities are generated money. The social security is generated money, including our River Gambia. We call our experts in economy, in statistics, in management. We call them how to do it. They will bring the technocrats. That's the job of the technocrats now. The vision will lay down, and the technocrat will demarcate it, and we'll use our funds.
But right now, how much of our GDP do you think is going into financing our debt? Hasn't this been the problem? That whatever money we are making, so much of it is going into financing our debt. This is the major problem that we face right now.
No matter how many debts we have, even if you have...
About 87% or so of our GDP is going to debt financing.
But if the government, so you said if the government is paying, they claim they are paying our debts.
You have doubts about that?
But I need a proof.
Well, when he said this during the State of the Nation address, when he addressed it, you had the EU head, everybody, IMF, you had all of these international agencies who would know what is going on. Perhaps the president even got the figures from them. They would know how much is going on. We would have had a statement to know. Are we economically independent
or we are economic enslavement?
Well, we know that we are not economically independent. We're a post-colonial society. Just from independence 57 years ago. We have to be realistic.
I believe economic independent, not economic enslavement.
We all believe in economic independence.
I will never let any big institution come in and tell me how I run my country.
Then sooner or later we will all starve.
We cannot be starved. Why? We have the land, we have the resources.
But you have to convert that. You have to convert that into resources.
My brother, if you want to believe in yourself, you love yourself, you respect yourself, you must be committed to do whatever you want to do. You don't depend.
But this is it. As Idi Job, the head of the GCC, I once put it, we have lots of endowments, but how do you turn endowment into resources proper? So we are in the process of doing some of these things that you want.
Mr. Moj, like I told you, governance, you don't need to be a graduate from University of Cambridge. It's all about vision. When the Europeans were doing the economy in Europe, did they call Africans?
Well, historically things are different. One wouldn't expect that.
Well, look at
they use African resources.
54 years in power. 54 years we in power. We just have one war, which is 1991 coup d'etat.
1981.
1981 coup d'etat. I was about 9 years old. You know, 9 years, 11 years old. 9 years old. 1981 coup d'etat. 54 years in power, this country after independence. 19 years, Rwanda, landlocked. They killed themselves.
But the circumstances are different. When Gambia gained independence in '65, we were called the improbable nation. So nobody thought, today we talk about tourism, there was only one hotel. So we were...
1968, our tourism started in 1968 before we became a republic. Cape Verde started tourism in 1992. They attracted 1.6 million per year.
So today we are a magnet. We know for this tourism.
We cannot even attract 200. Our tourism started 1968. We cannot even attract 500 million per year.
I think what's in the Battle Herding? Didn't Battle Herding bring the first tourists in '67? Something like
67,
that.
68.
67, 68.
Yeah,
but this is it. There was only one hotel. So the way we started,
but look,
it was actually a miracle. It was a miracle that we survived as a nation.
My brother,
it was really a miracle.
1992, I started a tourism, Cape Verde, a small island. They started their tourism in 1992. 27 years of tourism. They attracted 1.6 million. Ours is humming. From 1968, 67, and up to humming for 50-something years.
But we had a break in between. There was a time when the tourist numbers really went down, and they just researched recently.
We need to transform our tourism center. We need to change it. I don't need to come here and break it down. When time comes, you see it. I will give you my manifesto. You read it. You shake hand with me. Now, ask me questions that let me tell you what you want to hear.
No. I want to hear the truth. It's not what I want to hear. We've been talking for a while now. I've been asking you questions and you've been answering. It's just that we've been just having some trouble about how. There's no denying that you've got vision. You've got your own ideas, but it's just in the how, particularly when it comes to funding. Dealing with an economy where 80% of your stuff you have to go to finance debt. So how are you going to maneuver that to get us what you want? Because here...
like I told you, through hard work, unity and sincerity and commitment, if you want to pay all whatever debts we have, let's use our resources, slowly but surely. Let's invest billions of dollars we have in agriculture we can export. Let's use our river Gambia, tap it anyhow. Even our fresh water alone will generate millions of dollars. You see, my brother...
but how long do you think something like this will take? Have you actually done the feasibility studies got the numbers and the figures and projections?
We have done all the feasibilities.
So how long before you keep saying that our fisheries...
To us, when we empower, when GAP come in power 2021, after structuring the whole institution, 100 years, everybody will see the work. Slowly but surely, our short term is about 5 to 10 years. Our long term is 20 years. You come and see Gambia under the ticket of GAP, people will be proud of us.
You see, this is it. You see, because when you said that you could transform this place in 90 days, some of us were quite gobsmacked and we just didn't know what you meant by that.
But you are too intelligent. How can I transform the whole nation from cartoon to one for 90 days?
Well, you said it.
But structure. You probably didn't listen to the interview. I said an institution should need to be structuralized. America was built for 50 years.
But you need people for that.
We have forces behind us who are ready. Technocrats, rich people, ready to sacrifice mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially to make sure this country goes.
But you see, we have to take only your word for it. We really do not know what you have behind.
You are saying, I'm coming out soon. I'm coming.
You
see, we're not in a government.
Because already, but you should by now have had maybe what they call a shadow government ready to go into power.
I like that word, shadow government, ready to get in power.
Do you have such an organization? Is your party organized as such?
Didn't I tell you the forces behind us? If some of the president himself knows. When I choose my presidential candidate, do you know what was going on behind? He's a threat.
So if I wanted to talk to your spokesperson on fisheries, there's somebody there. If I wanted
we
to
have
talk
all
to
our ministries. We have the Minister of Agriculture. We have the Minister of Fishery. We have the Minister of Medical Ministry. We have Educational Ministry. The Education Ministry is sitting right behind me. We have our structures is our government is ready. Some are ready.
Some are ready.
Some are ready. Some are on the line. We are ready. We are structurized. When we get into power, there's no talking.
So the flag bearer, is he back in town?
He's coming very soon. He resigned from his post. He cares about Gambia.
But why didn't you tell him before you?
I want to, you see, visionaries, when they meet, I spoke to him 1 year ago. He knows his vision, he knows my vision. We click, I give him a surprise. He called me when I announced, let me give you the sweetest part of it. When I announced that he was shocked, he called me 5 times. I didn't answer his phone. Early in the morning, the following day, which is the 1st of October, 6:30 in the morning. Russia was 9:30 in the morning. He called me. He said, are you ready to take it? I said, I will. I said, resign from the post then. He did. He contacted them. He resigned.
So who first nominated him? You nominated him.
We, the executive, nominated him.
But the idea must have come from a single person.
The idea came from me,
you, yes.
and I spoke to the executive, and they agreed.
But you didn't see the need to talk to him.
Some of the executive knows him. They were so happy. They say, you choose the right person to lead us.
So how do you respond to the suggestion that it was because of your recent case, that was why maybe you wanted to deflect attention from yourself, and then you get a flag bearer?
What case?
Regarding the debt you owed Dr. Mariama.
Do respect to Mr. Moj. You owe. I have high regards for you. Even the President Barrow right now, as we talk, he owes. This is not about owing.
But here the lady said, she tried so many times, even she had to resort to going to court.
My brother.
Why?
My brother, my debts is my personal. It has nothing to do with the party. It has nothing to do with anybody. Why are they questioning about my debts?
But now you are in the political limelight, so all of these things
Do you know how many political leaders? Do you know how many political leaders in Gambia owe?
These things matter.
Do you know how many political leaders in Gambia owe? Do you know how many political are more corrupted than Bachili?
But it is yours that went to court.
But mine is your own.
Which might tarnish the gap, which might tarnish gap.
What God? It has nothing to do with gap.
But why not their leader? Their leaders was embroiled
this psychological warfare.
Between who and who?
Psychological, I'm talking about the media here. They want to sell their papers. They want Bachili. Bachili is like a super kanja. Everybody want to love and eat the food.
But the media didn't invent anything. They were merely reporting things.
But let me tell you, I'm not saying the media inventing stories. This lady doesn't even have a trust in our judicial system. If she has a trust in our judicial system, the judicial system will handle the case amicably.
But she went through the courts. It was a kind of thing.
Did the court tell her to go to the media? Nah. Last time she even said that I was arrested.
But how do you know that she reported everything to the media? I mean, the media were attending the
case. My brother, can we talk about something else? My personal life has nothing to do with the party. My personal life has nothing to do with the country.
But the personality of a leader matters to the voters.
Do you want to tell me if we screen Gambia from Argentina to Zimbabwe, meaning from A to Z, because we will never have a leader? You won't be sitting down. You owe. Why won't you consider paying your debts?
How do you know?
Maybe you know somebody.
So you're conjecturing.
I'm not conjecturing.
It's a conjecture.
Let me tell you something. If we talk about lead, every Gambian owes.
Well, we do not know that.
Every Gambian owes.
That's just an assertion.
That's an assertion. If the government owes, the country owes. The country belongs to us.
So
but
this is not personal. This is about national debt.
Okay.
Here we're talking about the personal. Surely we can make a distinction between national debt and
a national debt. Listen to me. A national debt is us as the nationals. That's why it's called national debt.
But it's different from the personal. That one, everybody
pays.
But your personal one, you are the one who's going to have to pay it.
Why my personal?
Not the nation.
You see, I've been watching your interview. My personal. You see, Bachili is a threat.
To whom?
To everybody, especially the critics. They know we are the winning government. They know my capability. They know my competence.
But why do you think you are winning? What is there to show us? What are the indicators to show that you are winning?
We have indicated a lot. Maybe you're not in the country. If your memory serves right, as a journalist, you should know what I did. If you're following gap, you see you are following gap, Bachili's personal debts through the media. That's what you're following. Why won't you follow my input?
But who's been measuring your input? Who's done any studies? How do you measure your input? Tell us how you measure it.
I don't need to come here and sit on national to tell who am I. People knows who am I.
But you are part of a political party now, so it's important for people to know who this.
Why are you emphasizing on my personal life, my brother? Why won't you move on next subject?
No, we spoke about lots of subjects before. We touched
on this one. But personal life has nothing to do with the development of the country.
Well, your personality matters because you're a political leader.
Then if I'm a political leader and our leaders, your country, which is Gambia, you've seen some of the leaders are corrupted. Why won't you invite them here and ask them why are you corrupted?
Well, today it's your turn. Another day it will be somebody else's turn.
My turn is, as far as I'm thanking God, my debt is not a corrupted debt. Thank God. And my debt is not, it has nothing to do with the image of the country. Thank God. My debt is my personal. If they keep talking about my personal, that means I'm a super kanja to them. They love to talk about me.
But you also talk about your personal, because I remember the first interview you did with The Point, you said that you, your siblings, your brothers, you all had money. You're rich. So one might wonder why then go and get that from an outsider.
Do you know how many rich people are driving the Range Rovers? If that,
but we're not interested in other people. We're interested in Musa.
Can you move on the next subject? Can you move on next subject?
You are the leader of
Are you talking
GAP.
about? Do you want me to talk about my visions, or you want to talk about my personal life?
They are all intertwined.
They're not intertwined.
The personality. This is where you've been saying
You
that
have your
so many people are corrupt and all of that. There you're talking about the personality. You combine the personality
I'm not saying
and politics.
so many people are corrupted in their personal life. So many people are corrupted in the national life.
Well, the personal is the political, as they used to say in politics.
My brother, I think if you have something to ask, let's go ahead, man.
You don't want to talk about
I don't
that
want to talk
one.
about. You see, my personal life is so. I think people, they love me. That's why they're talking about me.
Your membership, approximately, I wouldn't expect you to know precisely. What's approximately the membership of GAP?
Membership of GAP, you see, membership is not about just to have an identity, that this is my membership. People don't understand. You can have an ID card of a political party and your heart belongs to others. Our membership is unlimited.
So you don't have any
Our
figures?
membership is unlimited.
You don't have any figures
I can
approximately
approximately our membership is Gambia. The whole Gambia is behind this party.
But not the whole Gambia is an official member of the party.
The whole
Do you
Gambia,
have offices around the
our
country?
official members is more than 100,000.
Around the country?
Around the country. You will know the day when I'm picking up my incoming president. You will know. You will see a crowd that you never seen. You will know.
Right now, one of the contentious areas in our politics is about, even Khalifa Saleh said this during the debate in Parliament regarding the President's State of the Nation address, where he refused, he didn't address this, whether 3 years, Jatna, or 5 years. Everybody is gripped by this. What is your position on this? And recently, even the coalition, what remains of it anyway, they said they endorsed the 5 years for Barrow. What's your reflections, your reaction to this?
I have three things to say about this 3 or 5 years thing. Number one is about the Constitution, the Supreme Book of the country. I have high regard for it. Number two, the coalition government, they make a campaign from Khartoum to Wilibana, saying that, even yesterday, I heard the president saying he will stay in power for 3 years, the coalition government. After 3 years, they'll go to next election, they'll call for next election, and we go. That's the promise they did. And they don't even respect their promise. Number three, I'm urging I'm going for 5 years. Our party is going for 5 years. But if you respect yourself as a leader, your word should be the bond. They said 3 years, he should step down. If he respect himself. If things comes out and he said he has so much project to do and 3 years is not enough, come and talk to the people of the Gambians. Talk to the Gambian people. Tell them the reality that we promised 3 years. But we have something to accomplish. It cannot be done within these 3 years. You guys gave us the mandate, gave us the power, voted for us to be in there. Now we are urging Gambians to give chance. And look at it. APRC got 40%. My former party got 17%. When you look at it, it's 57%. The coalition is 43%. That means the minority is governing the country.
But it's a force past the post. I mean, we knew that.
I'm just giving narration.
Yeah, it's just the nature
now,
of.
If the president is serious for business, he cares for Gambia, he should respect his word.
So he should resign for 3 years.
To me, if it was Bachili, I would resign. If I know I have something and something came up, I'll call the Gambian. I'll talk to the Gambians. You guys voted us to be in power. We promised for 3 years. We are asking Gambians, can you extend our mandate for another 2 years to complete our visions we have for the country? And I believe when you talk to the Gambian with humility and respect, with certainty, they will give you a chance. But the Mickey Mouse game they're playing.
For instance, what would you call the Mickey Mouse game?
Look, they even say the coalition government is, we all know, it's 7 party. People there to extend the mandate. I didn't see Peter as there, Doi. I didn't see you to be there. And GMC even said they distanced themselves. And now they said they come back because they were not allotted. The coalition government, they like to listen to me. The coalition government, they're not honest to the Gambians.
So it dissolved a long time ago. So maybe that was why Barrow also changed his mind. If facts change, then you change your mind.
If facts change, you change your mind. A leader don't change.
But you have to change to take into account facts.
A genuine leader will remain, even the whole facts, all things change. You come out and say, look, people betrayed, the other coalition changed, but I, as the president, I'm the head of the coalition, I'm the president of the Gambia, I made my word, I promised that I will stay 3 years. Gambians, I have something to do, but if you guys insist, I will resign. Believe me, the Gambia will give him a chance.
But that's dogmatic. If you say that you will never change, even though the facts have changed, so you will never change your mind. Isn't that a bit irrational?
No, I didn't say that.
No, you said you will never change your mind.
I said I will never change my promises.
But what I'm saying is one makes certain promises given a certain set of facts. If facts change, then perhaps, and then you face a situation where you might cause greater harm by sticking to your promise, rationality dictates that we change it.
Well,
this was John Maynard Keynes, the great economist, John Maynard Keynes.
You're talking about I'm talking about humanity.
It's the same thing.
No. Humanity, when you say A, you mean A.
But humanity is frail. Humanity can make mistakes, hence the need to change minds.
But if you made a mistake as a humanity, why won't you come back to the people? This is not about individual mistake. This is about collective mistake. It was collective promises. If things change, like you claim that they say, why won't you talk to the people who put you in power? If it's about money, if it's about money to be in power, he wouldn't be in power. If it's about money, we use assets to be a president. My brother, I think only 2% will be the president. Only 2% in Gambia here. Because only the rich people will be in power all the time.
But that's what democracy is about. It's about democracy,
the masses,
not oligarchy.
It's about the masses who struggle hard, sacrifice whatever they have, trusted you to put you in power. If things change, if your promise change, why won't you talk to that people? I repeat, this coalition government, they are joking. They are joke.
Well, there's no coalition government anymore.
But well, which party does the president belong to?
So he doesn't have a party.
But it's a coalition
He's just a part of the coalition, absolutely.
It's a coalition party.
But it has dissolved effectively.
But effective, we call it coalition party. The manifesto in the IIC is coalition party. So it's still there until 2021. We want if election comes anytime, GAP is ready. Even tomorrow we are ready. Even if it's tomorrow we are ready. But really, I'm urging Gambians, let's look at the interests of Gambia.
Many will say that that's what they're doing. Perhaps it's just the
governors. 3 years, 5 years.
Yes.
The 3 years movement, Jotna, we should respect them. They are fighting their constitutional right. What worries me?
Well, what makes it a constitutional right, the 3 years, Jotna? What makes it a constitutional right?
That's their human being. They have,
they have a right to protest.
That's what I'm saying.
And that sort of thing. Because really, if we have a right there to enforce the 3 years Jotna, surely one should go to the courts.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, when they come out to protest, all I ask, let's be peaceful. They have the right. Whatever they want to, let it peaceful. I don't want violence. But if Gambians are serious for business too, listen to me attentively. If we are really serious for business, God put him in power through the Gambians. We voted for him. Let's use our nuclear power, which is our voters' card. Let's wait. Let's not even argue with him. Give him the chance up to 20. If me, for example, if I argue with you and this company belongs to us and we fall out, and I know I'm competent Bachili, like my former party, I fall out. I don't have problem with GDC. I have problem with the leader. I fall out with him. I told him that I'm forming my own political party and I give it to the Gambians. I won't be president. If you think that I'm hungry for power, onset. Whoever knows me, I never said Bachili want to be a presidential candidate. I told
so you formed the party, but you don't want to be a president?
Yes, I'm a kingmaker. My grandfather was a kingmaker. My father was a kingmaker. My father supported PPP. That's references here to the core. And I'm a kingmaker too. The only time I would...
But have you made it before? You haven't done it yet. You are in the process of...
Well, I supported GDC and we tried. First time, 17%. We did well.
But he didn't become the king.
But he was close to. But he did. He's well respected.
But he didn't become the king, as you said.
Without GDC, Jammeh would have been here. Let me tell you the truth. without GDC, without my former party. I'm not supporting about the leadership. I'm talking about the party. Without GDC, Jammeh would have won.
How do you know?
17% of our supporters are APRC.
Then those people would have given it to somebody else.
They would
How
have
do
given
we
it to
know?
Jammeh.
How do we know?
I know.
They might have given it to coalition.
They would have
Nobody
given
asked the 17.1%.
They confirmed they would have given it to Jammeh.
We really cannot do
But,
not know
well,
that.
I mean, you will know. But we
did.
did the best. Look at the percentage, 40 by 43, only 3%. That's 17%. That 17% is gone for APRC.
So you didn't support the coalition. One wonders why. You were then part of the
I'm not
party.
I was having my party. What should I support coalition?
No, what I mean is then GDC didn't. By then you were part of the party.
Yeah.
Yes, you didn't support the coalition.
What should I support when my party is there? We went for contest. 3 presidents, coalition president, APRC and GDC.
And that was also quite interesting because a lot of people I knew when Kande came onto the scene, they were supporting him. When he didn't join the coalition, they also left. So in a sense, Kande also lost a lot of people because of he didn't join the coalition.
Whoever supported the coalition at this now, they're regretting. Majority are regretting.
But we didn't know that then. The priority was to get rid of Jammeh. We all know that was the priority then.
Even if they put a dog there, they would have voted, Gambia would have voted for him because they want Jammeh to go.
So that wasn't a mistake because now you've fallen out with Kande.
Well,
that wasn't a mistake.
Let me tell you, I didn't fall out with GDC. I fall out with the leadership.
But it's the same thing. You left,
yeah,
or you were sacked, or left. Okay, but you left. You formed your own party.
To show
so it's the whole party.
I'm using a reference. If Gambians are serious for business, we should not even argue for 3 years. We voted for them. People who voted for them. Huh? Let's use our business. Tell them we'll meet you in 2021. Because if God forbid, if something happened in the country here, if something really happened, it's not good for us. The victim are who?
What do you think might happen?
I don't know. I say if. If something happened, my brother, it's not good for the country.
We realize, but it depends on what. What do you have in mind? Where do you see trends leading us? Do you have any indicators, any incipient indicators?
Look, in any kind of protest, my brother, there's a negative and positive. The pros and the cons. God forbid the negative. If the negative comes, people collide, start fighting, arguing. My brother, it's not good for our nationality. It's not good. It's detrimental to the country.
So what message do you have to people out there?
The message,
many will be watching?
my true message that I have for the Gambians, if we meant business, we're ready for business, we're serious for business, we should not argue with this president. We should not argue with this so-called coalition government. Let's put our anger in our ballot box. We have a nuclear weapon, that's our voters card. We take them out. Let them enjoy, because gap is coming. I'm telling them gap is coming. Two things. Either we fully government or unity government. But next government is us in there.
In a coalition? In a coalition?
I believe in unity.
So you'll be in a coalition? In all likelihood. It seems that in all likelihood.
But I'm highly optimistic we will first round will go. That will be no second round.
That would be a miracle.
My brother, it can happen, man. The forces, I'm telling you, I repeat again. You know, when people look at this party from inception, they belittle us. I'll repeat this national, let the whole listen to me. Some of Barrow's boys, I'm not talking about his cabinet, some of his boys. 2-3 days ago.
What do you mean his boys?
His boys, who's people who run, who so-called advisors.
But surely they are grown men. You cannot refer to them
when I say his boys,
so diminishing in this disparaging way.
They are some of his boys, man.
You cannot say that.
Boys. They are talking, they say this party is the useless party. But when I selected our presidential candidate, they got worried.
Well, we are yet to see the impact.
I'm telling you what's going on, my brother. I'm telling you what's going on. You're not telling me what's going on. I'm telling you what I heard. Okay. I'm telling you what the conversation.
So for you, it's hearsay as well, what you've heard.
No, what I heard.
Hearsay.
This is between the conversation. They are gap phobia. Gap phobia. They're scared of gap because they know the next government is gap.
But why should they be scared of gap? What have you done so far to scare them? We have not seen anything so far to scare them.
When you see a threat coming in, when you're about to lose, when you're about to die in a year, you might not feel. But when your business is about to collapse, you feel. That's two things. When the year you're about to die, you might not feel it. But the year your business is collapsing through your management, you will know. Mr. Mboj, this is the 2021 is gap. They're seeing the threat, they're seeing the capable, the competent of this party. They're confused.
Thank you very much there, Mr. Musa Yali.
Can I say my last word?
You've got maybe, 10 seconds.
Okay.
Please.
I'm urging Gambians, let's put the interest of Gambia first. Gambia Munyunyor. Gambia is our Gambia. There will be no angels will come and develop this country. 3 years, 5 years is my main concern. It's not about 5 years I'm supporting, but I'm not working with Barrow. But if we mean business as Gambians, let's go to the Constitution. It's our book that mandated him for 5 years. 2021 is going. But Chile Party, Gambia Action Party, or with the Unit Party, we are taking them, let them enjoy. In history, we will be the first person to remove an elected president in 5 years. We a gap.
Thank you very much there, Mr. Musa Yali Bachele. We've gone to the end of the program. Thank you very much, viewers, for joining us, and we hope that you will join us next time. I'm Mamadou Mboj. Bye-bye.